count? We've only got 3. There's 4 of you.
Yeah.
So nice and loud into a mic, boys. So that should be able to pick you up. If you read that in between you, boys. Okay. Yeah. Have fun. Do this.
You're with Andy Penders on Red Card Sports Radio.
Welcome everyone, it's Saturday night, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in, it's the Andy Penders Show on Red Card Sports Radio. What a show we have for you today. We are previewing the S-League. We'll give you the rundown as to where every single club will finish, who will win the FA Cup, who will win the League Cup. In the studio to help me do that, Gary Coe, Sean Lim, Nigel Chin and Amos Boone, the cream of the crop of Singapore sportsness, right? Looking forward to that. Also on the show, Jess Punch and Marlon Dance Hoy are here as we talk about Fit for Fashion. Episode 5 of season 2 now, so we can't reveal too much, but we'll reveal as much as we can. Well, I'm going to ask them what happened, but I think they signed the NDA saying that they can't say anything. Alan Bentley's in the house as well, the best tipster in the business. Big show for you tomorrow as well. We've got an exclusive with Cheryl Jantown. Now, Cheryl works here, so it's not that much of an exclusive, but anyway, he's got that super story of, I mean, it's so character defining, right, to let in 4 goals at home in front of 40,000 against Malaysia. We hear about that story. It's awesome. Nicholas Lim is in the PCR. Hi, Nick.
Hi, Andy.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. A little bit flustered with all the Chinese New Year preparations, having to involved in having to do the show as well.
Understand, but gongzi, 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 and all that.
Thank you very much.
Hey, let's get the latest sports news then with Nicholas.
Alright, we start in the Premier League. Manchester United are reportedly holding talks with Jose Mourinho about taking over Louis van Gaal at Old Trafford in the summer. Van Gaal has been under pressure at United for a series of disappointing results and his conservative tactics. Now Mourinho's agent, Jorge Mendes, reveals he has been in discussions with the Red Devils over the last 2 weeks, sparking rumours the Portuguese will succeed Van Gaal sooner rather than later. Meanwhile, Manchester City have announced a pre-season tour in China as part of their pre-season preparations for the 2016-2017 Premier League campaign. The announcement comes just 2 months after a Chinese consortium acquired a 13% stake in the club's holding company City Football Group. City will play in the International Champions Cup while in China, alongside a host of the world's major clubs. And finally, at home, the Football Association of Singapore is not yet ready to unveil the new head coach of the Garena Young Lions. Reports have emerged that Frenchman Patrick Hesse is set to take over the under-21 team, but is yet to be introduced to the squad. The FAS said they will announce the Young Lions backroom staff before the start of the season next weekend.
It's definitely him though, isn't it? Nick. He's definitely
Seems that way.
Definitely. Worst kept secret ever. Right, let's get into this massive S-League preview as we introduce you to some of Singapore's finest writers in the business. First up to my left, it's the sub-editor at Vox Sports. It's Sean Lim. Hi, Sean.
Hey.
Good to see you, bro. Thanks for your time.
Good to see you too.
Hey, how's Vox going? Everything good?
Yeah, getting ready for the season, I guess.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And what's Vox's coverage going to be like?
Still writing for the S-League.
Yeah.
And then producing videos, photos for the S-League as well.
Yeah, nice.
And we have Alex Weaver on board.
Yeah, is he a good man? Good man to work with?
Yeah, he's been churning out commentary pieces for us so far, and it's doing relatively well.
Okay, good to hear. He's a bit dark. If you see him, apologise for me.
Okay.
Because I was supposed to have a meeting with him here once, and I kind of didn't make it.
Okay.
And I apologise profusely, and he never wrote. Double ticked on the WhatsApp, the blueness come up.
That
no,
sucks then.
Sucks, man. Nice to have you on the show. Thank you very much. Also on the show, former 442 contributor, freelancer now with WSG or whatever they're called now. It's Gary Coe. Hi, Gary.
Hi, Andy.
Good to see you.
Yeah, pretty good to see you too.
Thanks for your time. Just by the way, all of my guests today, bar one, are Manchester United fans. Just saying. Nigel Chin's also in the house. Freelancer goal at goal.com, 442goal.com, and working so hard now with a bit of study.
Yep.
What are you studying?
Journalism and PR.
And where's that?
With PSB Academy and the University of Newcastle, Australia.
Wow, so there's a lot of juggling at the moment.
Just have to manage my time well.
It is. Busy during the week, busy at the weekends. Fantastic.
Fairly relative.
Yeah. It's okay, you're watching football, getting paid for it. That's not too bad. One man who played football and got paid for it, former Hull Gang United, Amos Boone's here. Hi, Amos.
Hi.
Oh, really? You've gone radio on me. You've gone radio voice. You see a mic and you've gone radio voice.
Of course. Trying to act sexy.
What's keeping you busy, bro?
Same old, same old. Just playing, enjoying my football right now after retirement. So I'm playing a lot with the Singapore Cricket Club, and they got a good set of team going there.
You're the go-to man if anyone's injured, I hear.
Oh, you heard.
Hey,
Okay.
hey, we need a keeper. Amos Boone. And what's keeping you busy work-wise?
Well, work's been as crazy as usual. I mean, we're just closed for the Chinese New Year period, so that's a good 1 week break that we've got. But other than that, a whole lot of traveling coming up for me in the next month.
Yeah, nice. Hey, just a reminder, we've got a famous footballer here in the studio. We want to give you a chance to win a Samsung mobile phone. All you have to do is tell us the most famous footballer you've met and the story that goes with it. It's the Big Red Card Sports Radio Football Challenge, brought to you by Samsung Sports Flow, the longest football quiz name in the world. Get in touch, go to the Red Card Sports Radio channel on the Samsung Sports Flow, and you can enter via the sports chat at the bottom. Nicholas, who is the most famous footballer you have met?
You ask me this every week, and every week I'm just going to tell you Fandi Ahmad. Really,
Doesn't
I'm not.
count. See, I would be making it up by now.
All right, I've met Zinedine Zidane.
There you go, boom. You stand a chance of winning a Samsung mobile phone. Right, let's get stuck into our S-League preview, because it all kicks off with the, what is it, Community Shield, isn't it? Is that what they're calling it? Charity Shield? Community Shield. Between two teams. Oh, I don't know where they're based in Singapore. Albirex and Brunei. Seems a bit weird, boys, doesn't it? Having two foreign teams competing for your Community Shield, Sean?
Yeah, I guess so, because it's a sign that local teams have to step up their game. Yeah, it was clear last season that the foreign teams were overtaking them.
Yeah, not good. The second game is Garena Young Lions. Is that we're saying Garena, right? That's the way to say it, everyone? Yep. Against Balestier Khalsa, Home United against Warriors, and then Tampines Rovers against Gailing International. It's a Monday night, Jurong West, 7:30. Is that the worst timing for that game ever, Gary?
Well, the thing is, Monday is a work day and everybody will still be suffering from Monday blues. But because Jermaine Pennant is likely to make his competitive debut in Singapore, so there'll be quite a lot of attention.
You think so?
Yes, especially Jermaine Pennant. Ever since he came to Singapore, there's been so much media coverage, there's been so much attention. It seems like the league has been milking everything out of him so far. I mean, even though he did not play against Mohun Bagan in India due to the non-registration of him as among the imports.
Or injury.
Well, possibly. But the thing is, Tampines have gotten the Champions League qualifier out of the way. They'll just be concentrating on the league as possibly as well as the AFC
Hey,
Cup.
good thing they lost against Mohun Bagan, because
Well-
Mohun Bagan got battered, didn't they, in their second?
Correct. They went to Jinan in China and they were whacked by Shandong
Wiped.
Luden.
Wiped, yeah.
6-0, yeah.
Yeah, jeez. Anyway, my problem, Nige, is that it's a Monday night. It's the biggest game ever it's the biggest game for some years in the S League. How am I supposed to get to Jurong West for 7:30?
You don't.
Huh? I don't.
I mean, that's the thing. A lot of people has been saying to push the league games onto a weekend or maybe Friday night. But having it on a Monday I find it a bit ridiculous. On the first week of a S League as well.
Do you know what? I went to a friendly, Amos, and it was a 5 o'clock kickoff, right?
Perfect weather or
Perfect weather, perfect lighting, perfect atmosphere. Didn't have to pay for the
the
floodlights.
floodlights? Well, I think I think the over the years they've been trying to fix the fixtures so that they get more fans going to the stadiums, because on the weekends you get a lot of the EPL games, the Italians, Germans. So they try to actually put these games in weekdays, so they try to attract more of the local crowds to go there. Well, hell, if you're working close to Jurong, you don't have. Well, the good thing is that you can watch the game, beat the traffic all the way
Yeah,
to
sure.
town, and watch Jermaine Pennant play.
As a pro, though, what was 7:30 a good time to kick off for you?
Yeah, I mean it's not a bad time. I mean the weather's a lot more cooler and the atmosphere is greater, of course, compared to playing the 5 p.m. games. As long as the floodlights are good, I mean greatly littered. Some of the stadiums the floodlights are not very well put up, so it affects your sight of the ball when you're actually playing in the night.
But I think I would like to add something here, because I mean, when it comes to 5 p.m. kickoffs, it has only been experimented very few times. The most recent was in 2011 when, Young Lions was called Courts Young Lions, and they tried to experiment Young Lions home games at 5 p.m., which was very good for almost all the away teams, except for Young Lions themselves. So as far as I'm concerned, 5 p.m. is an ideal time as far as, only for weekends.
Weekends, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Especially when you can bring families to come and watch a game as part of an alternative entertainment avenue, apart from shopping centres, apart from cinemas, apart from all the theatres and all the entertainment outlets that you can find throughout the island.
Yeah, I agree. And you can go for some supper afterwards, dinner afterwards.
Correct, and you don't have to worry, especially if the game is at 5 p.m. and you don't have to worry about rushing back home to put the kids to sleep and all that, or to go to work the next day. And I will also add something here about the first week of fixtures. It's actually an anomaly from what you can see from the rest of the week's fixtures. Usually it's actually going to be Thursday and Fridays though.
Yes, true. There's not many Monday games.
Very few, because they do not want the players to be too tired out, and you do not want teams to be complaining that they are playing so many games in this space of time, and then you got such a long break and the momentum gets broken up and down there and there. For the first half of the season, usually in every S-League season, it's alright, but it's usually the second half of the season where things get a little crazy.
Yeah. Well, we have the annual haze as well. That comes, right? Affects the
postponement of matches and everything.
And also the lightning warning system that's very unique in Singapore, the only one in this country. And I will also add something here. We have to be thankful that we do not have 8:45 p.m. kickoffs here.
Why?
Malaysia, they're still having 8:45 p.m.
They move to 9 o'clock kickoffs now. They've whacked it 15 minutes later. But I think that's either do it late or do it early. Just saying. With the cream of who would take exception to me saying that you boys are the cream of Singapore sports? Who's good? Who are good at journalists here in Singapore? S-League. A local league journalist. Do you read Neil Humphrey stuff? Yeah. Okay. So actually, this just confirmed by the boys. We are.
As far as present expertise goes, there's no doubt about it.
Yes, I agree. Right, we're done. We were Sean Lim, Gary Coe, Nigel Chin, and Amos Boone as we take a look forward to the S-League. Let's go club by club, guys, shall we?
Sure.
In fact, before we do it, can I get an overriding comment from you all? Because you've all been in the game. Amos more longer than. These boys look so young. Do you have a tangible feeling about this year, Amos, being something special with the Lions 12 coming in, with a marquee player coming in, with a lot more press coverage going on? Do you feel excited about this season?
To be honest, I think there's a bit more buzz in the last couple of years, which is good. Of course, there's the marquee signing. There's more quality players now divided into the teams, and that will probably raise the standard of the league. What's good to see is I think there'll be a good crowd, a good turnout for the first week to have a gauge of each team and to see how they stand, and it'll be very interesting and important that these teams perform.
Not just that though; it's got to be a good match day experience. The clubs have got to go out of their way to make sure that there's good food available, half-time entertainment.
Yeah, well, these things have been said from a long time ago. Some of the clubs back then used to actually have these activities, pre-match activities, for the crowds. But over the years, it's kind of died down.
Yeah.
You had Tampines, which had the cars that were on like to win, for example. You had Hougang United. I remember having all those little activities for kids and stuff. But these days, you don't see any of these. Whereas compared to if you watch the American football, the the NBA, they've got a lot of interesting activities prior to the games.
Nigel, this year?
I think one thing is. Tampines and all that said. For example, Tampines is playing in Jurong West.
Yeah.
That
could change mid-season, right? That's what I'm hearing. The stadium could be ready.
I'm not sure, but changing stadiums mid-season can be, not good at all. Look at last year. Warriors were building up their base at Woodlands, and then halfway after SEA Games ends, they moved back to Choa Chu Kang. The attendance wasn't that good compared to previous season. Geography itself in Singapore has been kind of an issue when it comes to the stadiums and the clubs.
I totally agree. I think when we first started the league, what was also a plus point was a lot of these clubs were affiliated to one area in Singapore, like Hougang in Hougang and Tampines in Tampines. Whereas now you get all these clubs that are all over the places. Everyone doesn't really know who they belong to or who they want to support now.
And if you see specifically to Tampines, I mean, when Tampines first started as an S-League club in '96, until they move out of Tampines Stadium, I think back in, I forgot which year, 2012 or 2013, I mean, they had a solid Tampines crowd. I mean, most of the people who attended Tampines home games were all living in the area. And I mean, by far, even when the S-League was on a stagnant mode, Tampines fans were also among some of the most passionate and some of the most loyal fans that you can ever see. I mean, it's not just the pom-pom leaders or the cheerleaders and all that. It's all those residents, the uncles, auntie, the young men, the young women, I mean, the kids. All these guys grew up watching their heroes in action, even when they were dominating the Singapore scene with the best talents that they could offer during, the Teo Hock Seng era.
I think for me, it's how the more money is coming to the league now, with the arrival of Penang and all. So just for next year itself, there are already 2 upcoming sponsorship announcements that's going to be made. So I think it's exciting to see more money coming in. I mean, it's Garina led the way by Sporting Alliance, you can't deny that. Mm-hmm. But I think there'll be more companies coming in, hopefully. Yeah, and it will raise attendance.
We've got a big announcement on Tuesday, right, for Geylang?
Yeah, they're club sponsor, I think. Yeah.
Who's that going to be, do you know? Well, we must have knocked out 200 names, right, for Young Lions. Didn't get Garina at all. We were going Gucci Young Lions, Victoria's Secret Young Lions.
Victoria's Secret.
Mercedes Young Lions. Yeah. Didn't call it at all. So, anyway, there's a buzz, right?
Yeah.
A few things need to be fixed, but there's a buzz, and you guys will be covering it and reporting it. Let's go through team by team then and just see where things stand at the moment, because Albirex Niigata, we'll do it alphabetically. Do you know anything about what they've done pre-season, Sean?
I know they have signed a giant striker, 1.9 million store. I'm guessing the next Zlatan.
Is he?
Yeah, he's super tall. I met him. I did a photo shoot with him.
Oh, okay.
And
did you have to stand on the box?
Kinda. And he's super grumpy as well.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, so he had this like perpetual frown on his face. And I was like, how do you understand, that kind of thing. Yeah. And interestingly, he's a left footer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be interesting to see whether.
What's his name?
Kazuki Mine? How does he pronounce his name? Mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll work on that before the start of the season, bro. So they've their friendly results are they beat Ceres LaSalle 2-1.
Yeah.
They drew with Tampines 1-1. They beat Garina Young Lions, and then they lost to Warriors. Have you watched any of these games, Gary or Nigel?
Just one of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the main issue now is to get the team to gel together. I mean, after all, they lost the entire spine of the team. You still have Kawata there though, but a lot has to be seen in the next 1 week or two when the season starts, how well they can gel together. Usually Albirex starts off well, but they fade off away. So I think the start of the season will go on to determine how well they will do this season.
What do you know about Tsushi Kawata?
Amazing player, I will say. Probably one of the better foreigners in the league this season. Last year, he alone had 5 goals and, more than that, I think about 11 goals. He was one of a focal point for Albirex in attack. I mean, with your striker not scoring, your wingers have to pick up the slack, and that's what he did. He gave some assists as well. Pretty good player, and a lot will fall onto his shoulders this year.
How much will they miss Koguri, Gary?
Well, I think because every year Albirex, they usually change almost 2/3 of their squad. They keep a handful of, key players, retain players here and there, the various departments. But Koguri will definitely be a big miss because of his ability to pull the strings between, midfield and attack, especially in the final third, where he has been quite influential, and he was he was Player of the Year last season. And now that he's at Hougang, he's expected to do a similar role there. But I think Albirex, they'll be compensated by the return of former player Tatsuro Inui. he will want to have he will have something to prove in his second stint at Jurong East Stadium after previous stints at Warriors and at Geylang. And especially for the coach now, Ki Nauro, this is actually his second stint in Singapore after his one season back in 2009, where he led the club to a rather modest mid-table finish after a slow start to the season. And I mean, ever since then, he has been back in Japan with various local clubs. I mean, his last appointment was in a J3 club, a third division club in the J-League, Gorilla Morioka. So now that he's back here with more experience, with more games under his belt, he's keen to prove that he can do better than what he did in 2009 and probably do better than what his predecessor Tatsuyuki Okuyama has done over the past 2 seasons.
How approachable are Isnu Ryo, for example? How approachable are these guys? How good is their English? Do you know? None, really?
Yeah, he has to use a translator.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And that goes for most of the players, does it?
Yeah, most of them. I think Kogure can speak English.
Right.
Yeah, Kogure has a good handle on his English, but for the rest, they still need a translator.
Okay. But I've been to a Albrecht's game last season. It was the one that got called off because of the haze against Tampines, I think. But that was a good match day experience. They had frozen Kirin beer on the go. They had all the players were super nice to the fans.
Yeah.
So it just seemed to be a really good community, and obviously they have a lot of Japanese followers. If I'm in Singapore, where shall I be located to support Albrechts?
Jurong East.
Yeah,
Jurong East where they play.
Yeah.
They've been there for a few years now. But I think over the years, Albrechts have always been an admirable team. Always a young squad, feeder squad that they bring through. And you always get the star that will shine after the season, and he'll be picked up by another club, which is what the whole system is about. Whether they actually move on into the Japanese senior team, or they get picked up by any local team or regional teams as well. So I think the system that they have is pretty good, nurturing young talents, giving them the experience, and eventually at the end of the day, help them grow in their career.
And speaking of which, following up where Amos has just mentioned, I mean, one of their former players, who played for Geylang last season, Bruno Suzuki Castanheira, he's now back in the J-League Second Division club, FC Gifu. I mean, as an attacking backup player. I mean, it proves that with the Albrecht system, not just you can go on to play in various parts of Southeast Asia, but also going back to Japan, where you can have respectable playing careers in the Japanese lower divisions. But that said also, I'll now just add one more thing about Jurong East Stadium this season. The turf is being relayed at this moment. It's going to be artificial turf, and it's going to be a massive challenge initially for Albrechts, but also for opponents this season.
Well, I didn't know that. So fully artificial.
Yeah.
That's interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Because they had a fantastic field there.
Yeah.
I guess maintenance-wise, maybe.
The maintenance has always been an issue.
It's hard playing on artificial turf, right, Amos?
Yeah, definitely.
Hurts the back, hurts the knees.
It's never the same than playing on a nice grass pitch. At the end of the day, it definitely works on your knees and your joints after the game.
Yeah.
On the concrete pitch at Jalan Besar Stadium, as how some players will privately call it.
Yeah. I agree, excuse me. I've heard they're carcinogenic as well, those rubber pellets.
Yeah.
For goalkeepers in the States, I hear they're doing some research because all the grazes that you get.
Yeah. Wait, now you know why I never dive.
Okay. Out of 10, give me the success of Albrechts' season. 10 being a good season, 1 being not so good. Let's start off with Sean.
For this year,
Yeah, for this year.
I think 10 would be retaining the 2 cup titles that they won last year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
and
you think they can do that?
I see them retaining at least 1,
Okay.
not 2.
So about 7. They're going to be about 7 out of 10 this year.
Yeah.
Gary.
I will actually give it a 6 because it's another brand new team with a few key players. It's going to be a massive challenge, and we would love to see whether Naoki Nauro can live up for a better second stint in Singapore.
I love the way, Gary. I love the way you talk. You talk like you write. I love it. You know what I mean? It's brilliant. Nigel.
Say a 6.5. Retaining Nozawa in goal has to be the biggest, thing that Albrechts have done in the pre-season. But I'm not too impressed with their new imports. I think they will be thereabouts, but as usual, they will not be right at the top, right at the end of season?
Amos.
I think probably a 5 maybe for me. Reason being, all the other teams have now bulked up in terms of squad, so the competition is going to be even tougher this year. And next they've got a new set of team which needs to gel, and they've got such a short time to gel.
We are with Sean Lim, Gary Coe, Nigel Chen and Amos Boone as we preview the S-League season. It's taken us quite a while to get through just one club, but we're doing okay. Let's speed on through this then. Balestier Khalsa, they've strengthened to a certain extent, Sean.
Yeah.
Do any of their signings stand out though?
Well, apart from the 1.9 million tall striker, Inoue would be a good signing in that sense because he can create chances and he can score them as well. And goals was something that they struggled with last season. But again, like what Nigel said, I don't see them at the top again because I think they'll still struggle for goals.
Right.
Yeah.
Are we talking about Balestier Khalsa or are we still on Albirex?
Albirex.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's move on to Balestier Khalsa now. Hey, any of their signings stand out for you, Balestier Khalsa?
Balestier Khalsa.
I love Marco, by the way. He's quality, isn't he?
I think retaining Christic is a signing itself.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
because he was a club top scorer last season. So I think that retaining him is key to their plans this year.
They lost against Ceres LaSalle. I went to see that game. Nick, you saw that game?
Yeah, I did. Just the Filipino side, they were just quicker and stronger.
They snapped up former Young Lions player Sheikh Abdul Hadi, Fadli Kamas, that's shoring up the defence. Veteran Jamil Ali from Tampines Rovers, Fazli Ayob, and Saifik Zainal.
Yeah.
And the majority of last season's squad retained. They always seem to do better than what they should, Balestier Khalsa. Gary?
Well, the thing is, excuse me, but the thing is, for Balestier, where this concerned, this season they kept roughly half their squad of last season, while several of them went on to other clubs. Like Ignatius, who went on to Warriors. But for this season itself, these signings are actually of a very different breed because normally they tend to promote from within their youth ranks, but this time round they're getting, youngsters who have something to prove, having not have had good seasons elsewhere. If you look at, for particular, Shafiq Zainal, I saw the game in the friendly against Ceres. Shafiq was running around so much. He's trying to prove himself that he's going to be a leading striker again, having spent so much time all these 4 years at Lions 12 and the previous and 2011 at Courts Young Lions without that much success. So there's always that hunger, there's always that desire to want to prove their own critics wrong, their own inner demons, to quash their own inner demons that they can do this, they can cut it at the S-League level.
Top 4 for you this year, Nigel?
Unfortunately, no. The squad, essentially, if you look at the signing, it's the same thing that Marco wants. Hardworking players who put in 100% of effort, maybe 110%. But like they have said, if you look at the squad, the quality is just lacking there. They lost Po Yifong, Ignatius, 2 of the key players last year. They haven't really replaced them. You've got guys like Zulkifli still there. They've signed Jamil Ali. They will provide you with something down the wings. But ultimately, I think the lack of a quality in the middle of the park is where you will hurt them the most.
Amos?
Yeah, I think they're gonna be finishing somewhere in mid-table, I guess. For me, they've, like I said, they've not had extensive key signings. But what they do have is probably some of the players that have something to prove. And with Marco at the helm, he's a leader by example, and I'm sure they all respect him as a coach. And I'm very sure that he'll be able to actually nurture and get something out of these boys that could possibly take them just above mid-table.
That's 4th then.
Yeah, how they performed last year is like how Leicester is performing in the EPL this year.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's well for them. I guess that what worked for them was there wasn't high expectations for them, like how Leicester is right now, and then how they've climbed that far. It's a bonus for everybody.
But that's it. This is going to be a rather tricky season for Balestier. They are still playing in the AFC Cup for the 2nd straight year. So these additional commitments, how are they going to balance it up? And how this massive lot of young players who are playing in the Premier League, how much are they going to prove? Are they good enough to be stepping up into the rather thin S-League first-team squad?
Good experience for them last year, though. AFC Cup, that
Yeah.
whole thing. Did you play?
Yeah, it's definitely a new experience. I mean, you playing in the S League and taking up a notch, and when you're in the AFC Cup, it's a whole different ball game in there.
Yeah,
for sure.
Literally a different ball,
Yes.
different balls,
Different. You're right. Well, yes, they actually play with different balls there.
different way of doing things. So the
But-
balls have to. Michael was saying it's crazy, man. All the balls have to be carried out in a particular bag.
Yeah.
Signage
So
has
there
to
there are
be right.
certain rules that they have that you can't actually go onto the field at a certain time. To do your warm ups, so they're quite particular when it comes to that standard. But then again, I mean, when you look at the teams that are playing, it was the quality is way higher. I mean, I was with Home United and we were actually playing the AFC Cup then, and so we played teams in Lebanon and stuff like that. And it was really really good quality stuff.
Got battered last year, the S
And
League.
especially against JDT and Kitchi. I mean, these are two of the best, East Asian teams in the AFC Cup, and they're back again in it this season after, unfortunately, they fell in the second round of the Champions League playoff.
Yeah, JDT a bit unlucky, eh?
Yeah.
Penalties, not nice. We're with Gary Coe, Sean Lim, Nigel Chinamo Spoon as we preview the S League season. We're still on to B's. So let's carry on with Brunei DPMM. Presumably, Nigel, they're going to rely on their foreigners again.
Paulo Sergio, yeah. I mean, it was the main reason why Brunei DPMM was able to win the title last year. And this year, having lost, Joe Gamble in midfield, he has to be relied on again.
Is he definitely there, or is he gone, Joe Gamble?
He's gone.
He's gone.
He's gone.
He's gone.
Okay. With that smaller crowd, yeah, tough. So can they retain the S League? Sure.
No. Short answer, no. Because they lost 2 foreigners and they didn't replace them. They replaced them with some local players. So I think they, honestly speaking, they didn't really took the S League by storm last year. They only won it on last day of season. They struggled to the end. So
But they get good following there, right?
Yeah.
At the ground and
yeah, at least 30,000.
Well, for the final game of the season, I was there in Bandar Seri Begawan, 23,000
Yeah.
full crowd. I mean, people were already queuing up at 4 p.m. before the 8:15 kickoff. People were actually already queuing up at 4 p.m. I mean, it's not every day that Hasnal Bolkiah National Stadium has such a full crowd. I mean, usually I've been there at least once every season since 2012. I mean, the crowds usually vary around 3,000 to 5,000. But for that final game against Balestier, it was simply amazing. People were queuing up, people were parking their cars all over the place. I had to walk roughly 1 kilometer from a hotel to reach the stadium. I mean, it's a nice, good walk and all that. I mean, the people were friendly and I mean, the mood is pretty celebratory, but no, they didn't go out to the streets to celebrate after the final whistle, after they won the title, although the crowd did really go down to the pitch once the Royals had left and did the formalities and all. I mean, that said though, when it comes to DPMM, if you look at the last 2 seasons under Steve Keane, the former Blackburn Rovers manager who used to manage in the Premiership, I mean, he has brought them to very new levels, not just in terms of tactical approach, but also in terms of fitness. I mean, you can say, a lot of people can say, yes, it's their foreigners that really brought them up to a different level. But I will also say he also brought new life in terms of local players as well. I mean, local stalwarts like Sairo, Wadun, and you got new revelation talents like, I mean, Azwan Ali Rahman, last season's Young Player of the Year and previously a nominee for Young Player of the Year contender. So if you look at the way DPMM are shaping up, this season though, it's going to be pretty interesting. The reduction of from 5 to 3. I mean, it's not just the loss of Joe Gamble, but also Boris Raspudic, the Bosnian centre-back who has been quite a rock-solid presence over the last 2 seasons. I mean, now it's up to these young players to take over because the core of the squad is still around. The three foreign players are still around from last season. I mean, it's up to... I do know that DPMM have brought in 4 new local players, 3 of them from the under-19 squad that they have set up just last year. One of them is... The other one used to play under Keane for Brunei national team in the AFL Suzuki Cup qualifiers back in 2014. Not Ikwan. I mean, if you ask me, it's how these locals are going to step up. I mean, it's not just about Azwan Ali. It's not just also about these usual stalwarts like Rosmin, Sairo, Wadun, Sharazin and all. Now it's also about how others like Hendra, Najib Tarif and I mean, let me see who else. And Noikwan and Redwan Petura. How are they going to all step up in their absence?
I spoke to Steve King during the week. Amos, he was quite bullish.
He was?
He was, yeah, sending me videos of last year and Just reminding everyone that's watch out, Brunei coming to Singapore again.
Well, technically they're still champions until the end of 2016 season. But I don't see them winning this year for sure. I don't see them winning at all. I think they're going to be probably, like I said, around the mid-table kind of team this year.
It's our S-League preview on Red Card Sports Radio on the Independent Show. Welcome wherever you're watching or listening. We're with Gary Coe, former 442, Sean Lim, the sub-editor at Vox Sports, Nigel Chin, freelancer at goal.com and 442, Amos Boone, former Hougang United. We'll get on to Hougang in just a moment. I said that wrong. Don't look at me when I say my pronunciation here, despite 17 years here, is still shocking. Don't worry. Now, normally I would go on to... let's go on to, I think, one of the favourites for the title this year. It's Geylang International. One of the teams, I'm supporting them. They're just my team this year, right? So Geylang Ballet and all that. But one of the teams, I'd say, Sean, that can claim favouritism.
I think they were challenged for a title, but I don't see them winning it. Because I think the squad looks promising, but I think they need a season together before they can challenge for a title and win it.
Plenty of new signings, Gary. Got Carlos Delgado, Indra, Dan Bennett, Branco, Stanley Young, Faris Hamid,
It's
Issa
a
Hamid.
massive revamp of the first team squad. I mean, they brought in players who used to have played together at the national youth age group squads like Shafiq Ghani, Stanley who used to play from sports school to Young Lions, and you got some other players from elsewhere who used. I can't really recall how, but it's such a massive change that there are just only a handful of retained players. Handful.
I went to the JDT game, Nige, up at Larkin Stadium. It was awesome.
It was.
Were you there?
No,
Oh, okay.
but I saw your videos.
Oh, yeah. Great fun, man. I'm definitely going to go up again. They did well against JDT, beat Happy Feet 6-0. I saw the Jungfrau Pongo 9-0 as well. I think. How well will they go this year, Galen?
I think they have to go for the title.
Yeah.
No excuses with a squad like that. But whether they will eventually win it, there's still Tampines Rovers and Home United. So I think it will be down to these three. And I think injuries will factor into part. All these three teams have a big squad, but I think Geylang just lacked that little bit, especially up front. After Branco, maybe you have got Sahil, but it's just a little bit of quality, I think.
Yeah. Amos?
I think Geylang's going to be one of the title challenges for me. The reason is that, firstly, it's great to see that some of these clubs actually have put their faith in local coaches, and Hasbin's a great guy, and I really hope he do well at Geylang. Having said that, now I think basically they've got a mixture of experience and youth as well. Some experienced players who can guide the team, and with that, I'm hoping that they'll be title challengers once again.
We are looking at the S-League this season with Gary, Sean, Nigel and Amos. Normally I would go on to Home United, but alphabetically now we have to go Garina Young Lions.
Yeah.
Right.
Change.
Yeah, that's messed things up. I don't have to change that. Right, is it going to happen, everyone? Garina Young Lions going to finish bottom like everyone thinks they're going to.
I think they will be at the bottom. I mean, they have so many inexperienced, raw young players who are making that huge leap from the youth leagues and from the prime league into the S League, thrown into deep ends. They're going to have such a fierce baptism of fire playing against more experienced professionals who have played in Malaysia, who have played in the region before. It's going to be a massive test for many of them. I mean, even though they are backed up by Firdaus Kasman, Khairul Amri, who are very experienced players, Faris Farhan, who is young but is already a seasoned S League player playing for two other different clubs in the S League previously.
Do you kind of squint your eyes and put your hand on your head when you think about this team going out to play Amos, or have they got more of a chance than that?
Well, firstly, they don't have a coach yet, do they?
Well, no.
So I don't know who's taking the team right now. But
Richard Tardy and
oh yeah,
Selvraj.
Yeah,
Selvraj. Okay. Well, the thing is, I think for these boys, it's going to be a baptism of fire for sure. It's always been with the Young Lions. And to be fair, they've actually come up with some pretty decent quality players that have come through the ranks. Having said that, yeah, they might be the battering boys of the league, but I think these boys they hold their own. I mean, I know that fitness has always been a key factor for the young Lions, and that sometimes put them can carry them through. Hopefully, yeah.
So the whole concept's a good concept in your eyes, is it?
It's I guess it is a good concept in the sense that you give these boys a chance of to shine, to let the national selectors or coaches of other teams have a glimpse of what these young boys could be about, because there isn't any other a platform to shine actually in Singapore.
Bit weird supporting the young Lions. Do you know what I mean? Have they got many fans, Nige?
There's always a group who call themselves, I think, with a die-hard fans, was it? Yeah.
Oh,
Die-hard
okay.
fans.
Yeah, they're always there.
Okay,
They're
good
always
effort.
encouraging the boys on. But
So do you think all the Lions 12 supporters will go and
Yeah.
support young
Probably
Lions?
excluding yeah.
I think we'll see some move over to support the young Lions, but probably some will move on to support some other clubs as well,
Tampines.
probably, with Pennant there.
Well, let's hope there's like 4 p.m. queues for S-League games this year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why not?
And
Um,
especially with 4 p.m. queues, we hope to see more police there. That means things are doing well.
Yeah. We're talking about Greener Young Lions. That $4 million sponsorship, Sean, tell us more about that, because it's $2 million cash. I mean, it's a huge amount of money.
2 million sponsored, and the next 2 years will be the next other 2 million will be used for different purpose of the team in terms of traveling and buying balls, new balls.
It's a lot of money for balls and travelling. right?
Yeah.
Let's get the cash in first. And
Yeah.
So, there's going to be player development, the team development. Can you read anything more into that sponsorship?
I think the main reason why Garena came on board was because if you look at Garena history, they are they deal with games, so they have a lot of young people. So I think the team attracted them, according to what the founder said. So he was at the training yesterday as well, and he gave a talk before that to encourage the boys and to tell them, I'm your friend, that kind of thing. Like, if you have anything, you can find me, you can play games together. Yeah, so I think he's trying to help the team to, take that step forward into their professional careers.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Can I just add, Garena sponsorship for Young Lions is 4 times more than what Great Eastern is sponsoring the S-League.
Well,
seems
we need more local companies to come forward, I guess, to support the league and the clubs.
What Nigel's saying is that they could have spent a quarter of what they spent and got the league. Is that right? So you guys are paying $1 million.
Yep.
That's incredible, isn't it?
I mean, given that Singapore is the financial center in the region, in Asia, but the S-League doesn't have that much financial support. It's, the culture is actually very different from that in, say, Hong Kong. Our closest competitor, even whether it's financial markets or even in football. Because in Hong Kong, if you look at the owners behind those clubs in the Hong Kong Premier League, most of them are taukees or big bosses who have had quite a fortune. Some of them they want to use it as a means to display their status, to display their wealth, to display their level of influence. But in Singapore, the high society perhaps is more close up. You need possibly not just one Garena or even Courts previously, but more guys who are interested in the sport to step forward, to pump in the money, to get things going, to be done professionally. Because without the money, the clubs are going to struggle. They're going to continue to play the scrim and save and survive.
Do we know any rich, very rich men who are passionate about football, who are Singaporean?
Sasi Kumar.
Peter Lim. Peter Lim.
Peter Lim?
Or the
Example?
first chairman of the S-League, the late Kwek Ling Ju. He's part of the famous Kwek billionaires, the brothers. Teo Hock Seng.
Yeah.
He's under Kwek Ling Beng.
Right. Are there any chairmen that are a bit tight then? A bit tight, not spending the cash?
S. Tavanesan.
Yeah, but still.
He has always been the budget club.
Yeah.
Although he has been the scene for decades. Even before all of us were born. But Tava probably has his own reasons why he has not been spending this much. Although the Tampines chairman, the new chairman, has been quite a breath of fresh air in his approach. the approach that he has taken, because it's a new approach, is an approach that we have not been seeing for quite a while.
It's an S League preview show for you on the Andy Penn Show with Gary, Sean, Nigel and Amos. We've got to for Home United now. We might as well call them Fandi Ahmad United, right?
No,
Why?
it's not about the Fundis. I mean, you have Ken Yuso there, for one. You have Faris Ramli, Khairul Nizam. So as much as, I mean, the Fundi boys are who people are looking out for, I think the team is so much more about just the two of them.
They still have to complete their national surveys.
And also, I mean, they kept half of their squad, the key players, Abdul Qaim, I mean, as Nigel mentioned, Ken Yuso, all their foreign players were kept. Khairul Nizam Jumat will have had a lot to prove after being kept on. I mean, he's no longer the backup now, he's going to be the first choice. And also Philip Au, he's around for a second season as a head coach. I mean, you see towards the end of the season how his team play. They play very good football. They play a very high pressing game, in the sense it's similar to perhaps Klopp's Gegen pressing. And we are very interested to see how he's able to he's going to carry on from last season, where he brought them to a cup final. I mean, the league it was a struggle at the first half of the season, as players were getting used to how he wants them to play, how these young guys are supposed to play. But he also has brought a lot of young players through. I mean, one young player I'm looking forward to watching is Arvin. He has been pretty solid last season in the second half of the season as centre back, as a young centre back.
Their friendly results look like this. They drew 0-0 with Spa Samat Prakan. They lost 1-0 to Air Force Central, and they lost 2-1. Sorry, lost 2-1 to both Air Force Central and Army United. So that was a tour of Thailand. Did you ever go on a tour pre-season?
Yeah.
Was that good? Was that good fun or essential or team? Or what were the benefits of it?
Well, it depends on the coach, I guess, and what the objectives were. Yes, when I was at Home United, we actually went for pre-season tours to Thailand. Played some really good sides. So the key objective of the coach then, which was Steve Darby, was to get the team gelling together, because you get the national players always on national duties, and then you get the local players who were training without them. So the training tour was more of getting the team gelling together on the field and off the field as well.
Which is important, right?
Yes.
Teamwork.
Yes. And off the field.
But only one of our teams has done it this year.
I think some of them would have gone for tours. I would reckon. I think Hougang United may have gone for a tour as well.
Hougang went to Thailand as
Hougang went to
well.
Thailand.
Okay.
And Home United, curiously, they have actually not played an S-League side in a pre-season friendly this season. I mean, last season I'm not sure if they had, but I know that under their previous coach, Lee Lim Sing of South Korea, I mean, they rarely play S-League sides in pre-season friendlies.
But that said, all these pre-season results are never a gauge, never a benchmark. It's always trial testing and seeing which players fit on which positions and stuff like that. So you can't really gauge from the results.
Can Home win it this year, Nigel? They've added the likes of Khairul Nizam, Faris Ramli, Zulfami Arifin, Akari Abdullah, Sim Tek Yi.
I think it's probably their best chance in recent years. And they finished outside of the first top half of the table last year, but
6.
yeah, that was a lot more about Philip Sau first season in charge.
Right?
Yeah. Now that is out of the way, and with the signings he has made, they are well equipped to go for the title. Last year, when Ilso was out injured, they had no one to replace him. This year, he has Khairul Nizam. There's also Irfan Fandi waiting in the wings. Just to sum up, I think the squad has way more quality than last year, and that's quite a very good achievement for Home United in this pre-season.
It's good to see Irfan scored a hat-trick against Liverpool last year.
That's Iksan.
Yeah.
Oh, that was Iksan. Big pardon, yeah. Sorry. See, I get mixed up now. But he's still there. He's there as well.
Yeah, and interestingly, Philip has said that he's looking to give Iksan chance in the S League at just 16 going on to 17. That's a very young age. But this guy has got all the tools in him to be one of the best Singapore players ever. So, it's really there for Philip to, nurture him, to gradually bring him to the team, help to develop him, and that will be very beneficial for Iksan.
Okay.
Well, I mean, to follow up what Nigel has said, I mean, Philip Au is doing two things at killing two birds and with one stone, developing young players and fighting for the title. This is going to be a massively interesting challenge for him this year. They have the tools, they have the equipment, now is whether Philip Au is able to push them towards over the finishing line. They came close in the Singapore Cup. They just fell short in the last 15 minutes in the Cup, Singapore Cup. Now in the league, can they push it over? I do rate them as one of the genuine contenders to lift the title, but whether they can finish first or second, it all boils down to whether they can keep the key players injury-free all the way.
I'm friends with Philip on Facebook, right? So I know where he's been. I know where he's been pre-season. He's been in Germany.
Yeah, that's the post-season where he went to Germany to observe all the training techniques and all that. I mean, because if you look at Home United, they have a head of sports science, Dirk Schalkenberg, who has been with various Bundesliga clubs. I mean, I do believe, as far as I know, it's true, Dirk, that he went to this Germany stint to learn from all the best practices of tactical training, the tactical finesse from all these leading Bundesliga coaches at the top level.
That's what Pep did for a while, didn't he? He travelled around the world, learning the craft. We're talking about S League. It's the preview. It kicks off soon. This is next week. We got on to H, which means Hougang United. How noisy former Hougang United star Amos Boone were there Hougang halls when we were there? Because we've had a couple of Hougang players on. Scarf's there. No silverware. We don't care. I'm good on that. But one of the best sets of fans in Singapore.
Yeah, definitely well supported at the club. Now they've got a bunch of diehard fans that actually turn out at every game and shout themselves hoarse in every game.
All
so
90 minutes, can't get a word in edgeways.
So it's really nice to see fans like that, especially when you play as well. Cheering you on as well. Hougang has always been a very well supported team. When I first went there in 1999, I think they were called Sengkang Marine then. Stadiums were full. Stadiums were 4,000, 5,000 each game, and these boys was the new boys in the league, and they were probably like bottom two. They're always struggling, but we're very well supported. So one of the good case study for them is Hougang has always been in that particular stadium all these years, having the same support and same fans all these years. So I think they've never been title challengers, to be honest, and this year I don't see likewise. But they would be there for pretty good upsets, I guess.
I think so.
Yes.
They've made some massive signings. They got the Player of the Year last season, right? Nice. They got Josef Kaplan as well. They've added Stipe Plazibat as well. I watched them lose against Warriors recently. They looked full of life. And Bala's got them going well. Looks good, boys, no?
Yeah, if you look at the Young Lions friendly they played a few days ago, their winger swing Scott Toys. So there's a defender. Yeah, so I think they have people in all departments of the team who are capable of scoring. Yeah, and their midfield looks the strongest now, with Anu there, with Raihan there, with Kogure there. So I think it's a very balanced squad.
Will Anu get a lot of starts? Because he seems to be coming in at half time a lot whenever I've seen her. Is he Anu? Is he a player that can be really developed for the future? Is he someone that Singaporeans are excited about?
I think he needs some more time to develop, out of the FAS setup, and I think I see him being one of the midfield enforcers in the future. Yeah.
So on paper, Nige, Kaplan up front, you've got Steepage joining him. That's one of the most lethal strike forces.
It is. With Kaplan, everyone knows what's Kaplan capable of. Scoring goals, getting you assists. You have Fumiya Kogori there. And that's a very lethal front pairing there. But I think Hougan's problem this season will be at the back. With no foreign signing there, they look pretty lightweight there. And all their defenders have been big part players at their previous squad. So
they looked a little light when I was
That's it also. If you look at their Hougang coach, K. Balagumaran, he used to be the assistant coach with Sundram at Lionshaw in 2013. And thereafter, his last stint was as fitness coach at Negeri Sembilan, where he stayed longer than Sundram. And previously, he was also an S League coach with Gombak United, where his specialty was in promoting young players, grooming them to get them ready for first team action. He's got a few of them reunited with a few of them at Hougang. Iqbal Hussein, Samuel Benjamin, these two in particular. I mean, with his experience and know-how in getting these guys together, and with his previous knowledge of some of these other players that he has worked with elsewhere, this is where you could be in for a real surprise, because you never know how these players are going to blossom under him.
Yeah, the real surprise package then
Yeah.
of this season. Okay, we'll get your prediction in just a moment as to where they'll finish with Gary Coe, former 442 and now freelancing at WSG, or Lagarde it's called now, Gary, is it?
Yeah, correct.
They got bought over, did they?
Yeah.
Sean Lim, sub-editor of Vox Sports, Nigel Chin, freelancer at goal.com and 442, Amos Boone, professional playboy. Well, I don't know.
Where did that come from, Andy?
I was down at your pub the other day.
Were you?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It's good.
You like it?
Well, no, I'm just giving you the opportunity to give it a play.
Oh, we're watching the Saints game.
Yeah. Well, because we keep winning. Fraser Forster's back, not letting in goals, and we're keeping winning. It's an S League preview we're doing for you. We've got to T now, and that's T for Tampines. Okay, will Jermaine Pennant, Sean, would he struggle or would he thrive?
Judging from the pre-season friendlies, he already has a couple of assists with the goals. If he can remain injury-free and stay out of trouble, then yeah, he will thrive.
I've tried to get him out for a night out. I'm like, come on, son, let's get into Clark Key. No.
I think he has a lot to prove after his previous stints in UK, where with so much promise at one time the most expensive teenager in English football, but he has fallen down the grades. But yet he still managed to conjure up real top level experience in Euro and in the English Premier League. I mean, he has got some ability, but how he's able to adapt to the culture here, how he's able to, get through all the things that our local boys are going to throw at him on the pitch. It's going to be a massive challenge, and as well as his attitude. I think his attitude will be the biggest factor in whether he'll succeed or flop with Tampines.
I think with all that said, football is not just a one-person game. It's a team game. There's 11 players. Probably the player apart from Jermaine Pennant to watch out for will be Jordan Webb. 6 goals, 8 assists with Koh Siang Lions last year. He proved he has what it takes at this level. He proved how good he was when he brought the Young Lions. I think they won quite a few games in the second half of the season when he returned to the team. I think Jordan Webb probably will make a bigger impact than Jermaine Pennant. I feel it will be that way. And of course, Fazrul Nawaz. This year I think he's gonna be scoring a lot more goals with better services this year.
I think Webb to Nawaz is going to be seen a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Looked sharp against Molenbeek when he came on, John Webb. But a lot of new signings, and the whole culture's changed there, isn't it? It's a completely new club there.
Yeah.
Hoksang's gone, new chairman Krishna we've had on the show.
Well, I think Tampines are definitely one of the front runners for this year. I think they got a pretty decent squad, quite a good backbone of the team. That's from the keeper right up to the strikers.
They're all Lions 12 players.
Yeah.
9 of them.
Yeah. And to be honest, besides the whole hype of Jermaine Pennant, I'm actually rooting and hoping to see how this young boy fares, Chris Van Heusen. So he's actually a very talented player, both left and right-footed, and I'm hoping that he shines this year.
Super goalkeeper as well.
Iswan Mahbub.
Me? Oh, right.
Sorry. am I coming back out of the Yeah, his one's there.
Yeah.
There's some good goalkeepers in this league.
Yes.
Yeah.
Credit.
He's
where
on
credit's due.
Zaifu.
Yeah.
Yasin.
Yeah.
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 So
Xiao
basically,
Suan
Tampines have got a
Yeah.
pretty decent squad. Like I said, besides Iswan, I think they kept Joey as well. So overall, I think the squad they've got a good depth as well.
Favourites then for the title.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Or what about Warriors? Didn't sign too many players. Still looking solid. You got Jorg there, who's got enough experience, right?
They
They'll
beefed
be-
up their defense though.
Yeah. I think
Considered the most last year.
I think what Warriors have done is to get players of proper S-League experience. Last year, when they were defending champions, they released quite a number of first-team players. Didn't really replace them, and it really showed in the defensive end. This year, the first thing they have done is to recruit all their old boys. Ismail, Zulfadli Zainal, Shaiful Issa, back to beef up their defense. Yazid Yassin is in goal. It's a very solid defense. But for Warriors, I think the main issue right now will be up front. They have just got one striker in Jonathan Bihe. If he's injured, there's nobody to really pick up the slack from there.
They are top heavy now. Right at the top, like from the top, the defense is back.
Yeah.
Then it thins out the bottom.
They look really good. I mean, they've won. Yeah, beat Hougang 3-2.
Well, maybe York's game plan is the defense is always the first.
Well, perhaps it is.
Defense is the best attack.
He was my teammate back in Tanjong Pagar in 98, I think, and he was a good defender as well. So I guess maybe that would his experience might help to plug the leak at the back, and then from there they can actually move forward.
But I think York will have a lot to prove because throughout his time in the S-League as a head coach, whether it's at Woodlands, Hougang or Geylang, he has never finished in the top half.
Not done it, has he? Not done it.
No.
But that might be down to the squad he has. I mean, this is a pretty good-looking squad.
And this is where the test comes in, whether he can really bring them up to the top half. Because in the past 3 seasons, they have been quite yo-yo. I mean, bottom half, champions, bottom half. Can York bring that stability back first to the Warriors setup that has been through quite a unusual spell after being so long at being the dominant force in the game?
It's a bit weird how he got Ben Sharifa was there, and it's a bit weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, we're doing an S League preview with Gary, Sean, Nigel, and Amos, and thanks for your time, guys. Because I mean, it's something. So you'll be busy every weekend, presumably.
Most likely,
Sean?
yeah.
Covering, going to matches,
Going to matches.
videoing. You videoing or
taking photos and writing as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Gary, you're going to be busy.
Well, I'll be watching some of the games.
Yeah.
We'll be observing as well.
Observing, I love it. And nice. Well, you be.
I think this is probably my last free weekend of the year.
Wow. Yeah. Amos, you going to get down to any games?
I'm going to drag you along.
No, I'm there.
Sure, yeah.
I'm there. I'll try, and if you give me a lift, I'll come down to.
Yeah, we're practically neighbours, so
Yeah.
we could go and watch a game at Geylang together. They're playing tonight. They have a friendly at 5 p.m. today.
Okay. Well.
Are you free?
Okay, I'll think of a way of answering that because we're pre-recording this, and then this is going out after we've actually pre-recorded.
Oh, that's right.
It, yeah, so it's kind of messed up the whole hour.
Cut it out, Nick.
Right, final prediction time then, guys. Let's go through. We won't do one tonight. We'll do the top 3 and who's going to get success in the cups. We'll start off with the prediction for the 2016 S League title with Sean Lim.
Tampines.
Gary Coe.
Well, by whisker, Home United.
Love it. Nigel Chin.
I think it's going to go down to a wire between 3 teams: Geylang, Home United, and Tampines.
Love it. Amos Spoon.
Tampines for me.
Second, third.
Yeah, but like I said earlier, I think Home United and Warriors and Geylang, these 4 teams will be in for a chance.
Brilliant.
I would love to see a DPMM resurgence. I mean, they will not win the title, but hopefully finish third. Once Steve Keane has figured out how he's going to cope with just 3 foreigners and young, inexperienced locals in the side.
They're going to struggle, the foreign teams this year. That's good though, right? You happy with that?
Yeah.
I mean, and there's also the new match ball, which is very different from Mikasa. It's going to test a lot on their abilities, on all the team's abilities.
You think so? The new ball, the mitre ball?
Yes.
The keepers hate it.
Why? Keepers hate every ball. Don't you? Always a new ball comes out. Oh, it swerves too much.
I've yet to try the new Mikasa
What's
ball.
different? What's different with the mitre ball then?
I think it's lighter and it flies. The players say it flies in a way that it swerves.
Like the beach ball.
It seems pretty a similar comment when the first of the Adidas and Nike balls came about, and what we were playing in the league with the Mikasa ones, or and then when you play in the AFC, you're playing with the Adidas ones, and they were much different.
And I think in terms of the accuracy, I mean, the wingers, the attackers will love it. Where they want to shoot, where they want to bring the ball cross the ball into the box, where its destination, the accuracy is much more accurate. I mean, it's much better for them, but for goalkeepers and occasionally for defenders, it's going to be a bit of a struggle. it's going to be tough predicting where the ball will go.
It is a big difference for the keepers, to be honest, as a keeper. If you're playing outfield, the ball's fantastic. I would love to play, with that kind of ball. But when it comes to really stinging shots, the balls do fly really fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you sign our ball?
My pleasure.
No, all of
I
you,
will.
because everyone that comes in gets the signature chance.
You need a bigger ball.
I do, and there's some big names on there, son. Massive names.
I'll sign mine big.
No, yours is small.
All right.
If you could do that, pass that down the line. As you do so, guys, I want to say thank you very much for coming on to the show. Manchester United fans, just very quickly, I mean, I'm happy. Everything good there? Everything all right?
Spurs.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Big Spurs fan. Hey, dark horse for the Premier League this season?
Yeah.
You have Dele Alli.
Yeah?
What a goal.
Yeah.
Ridiculously good, wasn't it?
Goal of the
One of
year.
the goals.
Although, then Vardy's gone and done that against Liverpool, hasn't he?
That was not that fantastic.
Yeah.
I think
I
the
agree,
Van
I
Basten
agree.
one was better.
Delhi's one was
Oh, yeah.
better.
Yeah.
That
You know?
is-
The-
Look
because
at
it was a great goal.
Look at the touches he took before he actually shot the ball. That was fantastic, man.
Yeah.
But from the angle, Van Basten was hands down.
But for Vardy's goal, you have to look at the goalkeeper as well.
Yeah, this is true. Well, I hope United's displays of late are keeping you guys awake, and not. I mean, what a great tonic for a snooze. The old watching
It was
United
quite a
play.
bit
Eh?
this season.
Oh, it's been shocking, isn't it? Anyway, whatever. So Nick, all good? All good, says Nick Lim. Want to thank you once again. We'll see you down at SMS League games.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Andy.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you, Andy.
Remember to cut that out. The 5.
It's a red card, and he should get 2 red cards. That's got the red card out.
Red Card Sports Radio, the best sports station in Asia.